And my line is squiggly and your line is squiggly. Therefore, everybody is squigglying.
I'll show you a squiggly line.
Do it. Do it. I've been waiting. How many episodes did we get through? Hold on. 110?
Something like that.
I gotta see how far we made it. Oh.
Hey, still not a COVID cast though, right?
Still not a COVID cast, motherfucker.
Bitches.
Smells like bitch up in here. I don't know. Oh, that's different. Sorry, I was looking at something different here. Podcast episodes. No, Wes, stop organizing them by episode. Where the fuck is everything?
So we have 117 episodes.
Oh, seriously? Okay. All right.
Well, actually, I take that back. So this will be episode 110.
Well, that's a good number to go out on.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, welcome to the cold open. This is our last episode of the show. And I don't know how to handle it.
Hiss.
I don't know how to handle it. Yeah. The creator of the show isn't even here for his last episode of his brainchild. That's the real elephant in the fucking room right now.
Well, I don't know what you're going to cut and what you're not going to cut, but I don't know. That does seem a little weird. I don't know.
It was funny because we were all sitting in the room today, and I told Ash that you and I were recording tonight, and she looks at me and she goes, "What about Wes?" And Wes just obnoxiously shakes his head no. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah, I'm just telling you about that stuff,
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not disappointing.
What?
LTTstore.com. No, I'm just kidding. What's not disappointing is and that segue. What's not disappointing is people on TikTok who have that little fucking microphone.
Yeah.
And they're halfway eating it like it's a Snickers fun size.
Uh-huh.
And they're they peak their audio, right? Because they don't know what projection is and how to manage audio, feedback. And they go, "We have breaking news on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce saga." And it's who the fuck is we? Do you have producers back there and they couldn't give you a better fucking microphone?
They got some shit producers.
The producer is a fucking smartphone.
The producer's shit too.
Yeah. Shitty ass smartphone. Yeah, fuckers. And I call these people out and I make fun of them, and Ash is like, "You're just jealous you're not viral." And I'm like, yeah, I am jealous I'm not viral. I have more fucking talent in my pinky than any of these assholes do. And my podcast is ending, and they're just on TikTok talking about we have breaking news on something the TMZ broke 2 weeks ago.
It's just not fair, is it?
It's not fucking fair. Anyways, let's get on with the show.
Let's try something else.
All right, I'm doing this for Lenny's sake one more time. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from across the country and around the world. This is the Life Midwest Podcast.
I just came.
Rated R. Join a Washington musician, a communications major, and an Army veteran as we talk about life's events that are both current and events.
For the last time.
For the last time, except we're not talking about any current events. I think, honestly, we're just going to kind of roll from the cuff, talk about, how we got here to the last episode, kind of what's next for us individually, what we want to do, what we hope to do. We don't want to use this as like a springboard because none of us are transitioning to anything immediate. But we are going to probably leave our socials and where you can reach out to us and follow us if you're curious on our lives, I guess. I don't know. This is about to be like the Midwest goodbye is what this episode is going to be called, because we're going to take a half hour to do it.
I think it's going to end up being more than a half hour, quite honestly. But Wes, what do you think? Sorry, that was a cheap shot, guys.
No, that's okay.
In case so in case you guys couldn't figure it out, Wes isn't here with us today recording. Couldn't be bothered, I guess. No, that's not.
Yeah, it's gonna be an hour episode because we're just spending the next hour laughing about that joke. Holy shit!
Yeah, that was pretty fucking good though, wasn't it? Anyways, Wes has some IRL stuff that is preventing him from recording today, and it's been a month almost since the last episode went live, so we figure actually it's been longer than that. It's been about a month and a half since the last episode went live, and we figure why prolong this anymore? And we should let you guys know what's going on. And what's going on is that this is the end of the Life Midwest podcast.
Yeah. You can keep going, Lenny. You're on a roll. You keep going.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than I'm sad about it.
Yeah, I am too. It's been a fun ride. It's been a lot of great memories. It's been stressful at times, obviously trying to get the content together and trying to produce a weekly show and meeting this deadline that nobody even set besides yourself, but you're determined to meet a goal or meet a deadline that you set for yourself and for your team, and
it's try not to let that team down and carrying your own weight.
Yeah, it's but I'll tell you what, it's been some great fucking memories. I mean, from episode 10 when we talked about Emaily Green to having Lenny on his first episode with his My Friend episode, and then his first feature with talking about being punk, and then when we introduced him and his mic kept muting when he was trying to say it's me. Or no, it kept leaving him out. That's right. That's what it was. Lenny, I just want to take a quick second and talk about you, because I really genuinely think that you brought a whole new element and corner to this show. And I really I think that's one of the main reasons I'm going to be so sad to stop doing this is because you always had that really good comedic timing. And I'm not just saying that because of the West. What do you think? But in all seriousness, it's obviously brought the two of us closer together than we've ever been, even as best friends. And it's just been a lot of fun. And there's not a lot of people in this world that I would stay up until midnight for on a day that I have to be up at 6 a.m. The next morning to record with. But you were one of those fucking people, because I love you to death and I love what you brought to the show. So I know we're not at the shout outs yet or anything, but I just wanted to thank you.
well, I'm chuffed as nuts to hear you say that, Kevin. No, but seriously, I really do appreciate it. And, you kind of hit the nail on the head. This really has, especially, obviously it brought the three of us closer, but, it really brought your friendship, our relationship as best friends and secret lovers to a whole new level. And I hope it actually doesn't hear that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I always, one of the things that I was worried about when I joined you guys was being able to carry my weight. And because you did such a great job, during your time as producer of the audio podcast. And and then, when we brought on the video, Wes did such a great job with that. And I know that for him, it was stressful using tools that would break all the time when they were meant to save you time.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know,
This episode is not brought to you by Descript, by the way.
I think I don't want to speak for Wes because like I haven't really like talked to him about this, but I feel like if it wasn't for Descript being like a giant pile of garbage most of the time, this would be like still going.
It's possible, and it's kind of funny because it's like it's almost like we're at a wake of something, and I just feel like, and I feel like it's very common to, like, when we experience like the death of something, or like the end of something in general, to kind of be like, what could have been different, or what could have gone different, or like what would have like changed the outcome of this, or
Yeah.
could it have? And I think you're right. I think that's one of those things.
Yeah, maybe, but you know, like again, I don't want to speak for Wes, but I know that he has a lot of obligations on his plate, and you know, when a project no longer becomes fun that's supposed to be fun, then it doesn't make sense for to continue on with doing that, putting that on your plate. So as sad as I am that this is going to end up being the last episode probably forever, you never know what the future holds, but for this foreseeable future, this is the last episode of the podcast. I am sad, but I don't want Wes or you or myself or really anybody that does listen to this to think that they should be beholden to a project that no longer is in their best interest, you know? Um, so I'm really glad for the memories that we have, and that'll live on forever because the internet is forever. um and the laughs too. I had a lot of fun with this, and I was and still am honored that you guys asked me to be on full time, even though I feel like I kind of bullied my way on. um but yeah, it was fun and stressful, and it was one of the greatest things that I've helped create as a creative outlet. So thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. I feel very similar, sentiments, and it a lot of times felt like a job, but in a good way. Um, to where it was like, okay, this is work that I have to do. If only this, you know, if only I got paid to do it. It
Yeah.
was like, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, I would not mind this level of stress if I was getting compensated for it. But I, like you said, Wes has a lot of obligations. We all do, and I think we all tried to make this work as long as we could. And I think we kind of were starting to push our limits a little bit in the last couple of months, and I really hope that's not evident in our productions, or in our tones or in our voices. I don't feel like it is, but um yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I kind of do, and just kind of show everybody how the sausage gets made. Um, for those of you, well, anybody that's listening to this obviously knows that Wes, for the most part, lives in Thailand, which is 11 hours ahead of me here on the West Coast. Kevin, you're 3 hours ahead of me in the Eastern time zone. And so really what that means is that our opportunities for recording are super heavily limited, right? Like we typically would record at around like 9 o'clock PM Pacific Standard. So that's midnight. If we're starting on time, we don't get anything early. That's when we're starting recording. So that's midnight for Kevin,
Which never happens.
yeah, it didn't even happen today.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure for this one. But like, so that's we're looking at like 2 to 3 hours. So it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for you. For Wes, it's in the middle of the day. However, he's got his things going on. Trying to stay on some sort of like communicative grounds with the US, while living in Thailand. I sympathize with him. Well, I empathize with Wes on that endeavor because I know what that's like to do. You know, when I was in Iraq, it was very difficult to manage communications between, back home. um, which just because of like the distance and the time differences. So um,
Hmm.
I really empathize with him a lot on that, and I understand like how hard that is, and that's not even including recording, for 2 to 3 hours sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, so you know there there's just a lot of scheduling conflicts. Wes works a crazy amount that isn't even when he's not working on the podcast. I work a crazy amount plus have 3 children that are, um, let's just say, a lot. I love them, but they're a lot, and I think parents will understand that. And then, Kevin, for the last however long you and Ashley were planning a wedding, that takes a lot of time and energy. And you're going to school. You also had a lot on your plate, buying a house through all of this. There, nobody's nobody was
Unscathed.
yeah. Everybody, we all had obligations, and at the end of the day, it turns out that those obligations needed to take precedent.
Yeah, it's very true. It's sad but very true. And I hope that um I hope that there's projects in the future to where we'll be together in some capacity on that. Or I mean, obviously we're all going to be best of friends still. I mean, hell, the two of you ran my wedding.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way. Since
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I've said that to you already, but like maybe not the rest of the world knows. So
Yeah, I'm a married man now. I am
Mazel
married.
tov.
Yeah, I'm married to the love of my life, my best friend, and I
You're not
couldn't be
married to
happier.
me.
I genuinely could not be happier, and I could not feel luckier to be with someone who um, pushes me to be better every day, and still shows me grace and compassion and through all my flaws and mistakes that I make, even when I'm aiming high. And sometimes I feel like Lenny, you did sports in high school. What's that track and field thing where you have like the flexible pole where you're trying to get over like a
A pole vault.
certain pole vault? Yeah, I feel like Peter Griffin trying to pole vault sometimes. And she still, when she looks at me, she goes, "I love you, you fat son of a bitch." Um, and that's what's great about our relationship is she still loves me despite all of that. So I just want to give her the world in return, and the least little bit I could do is gloat about her in the final episode of a podcast that I've had near and dear to my heart for a very long time. So um, let's talk about what's next. Like whether that's personal stuff or endeavors, or if it's just going to be a matter of I'm gonna try to not masturbate 7 times a week. I don't know, whatever you want. Let you go first. Like, what do you want to do next, Lenny? Like, what's in the books?
So I don't have anything really planned right now, as far as like projects go, or um, anything like that. It's really, I'm going to just carry on with the rest of my normal life, I guess, for now. I've got some ideas kind of like in the back pocket, if things ever slow down enough where it makes sense for me to do that. But yeah, I'm just gonna hang out, try and be the best dad and husband I can be, and try not to drown in work, and maybe play some video games every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be. For a while you were a part of a. I don't really know how to describe this, but you were a part of a streaming group. Is that like the accurate way to describe that?
Um, uh, yes and no. So I was involved with a now, I I think the correct word is defunct charity. So the charity no longer exists. It's closed its doors. That was specifically catered towards um, creating a gaming community for veterans. And so, as part of that, as well as like I guess, boom of Twitch, I did try my hand at streaming, and I think I did it for about 2 years to mostly nobody, which I'm not complaining about. Don't get me wrong. Like I had I had fun with it. But as um, you know, as Ronan was born, and then trying to support a family, it just became less and less feasible. So that's why I don't do it anymore.
Gotcha. And the reason I asked that is because I specifically remember a very fond memory of you playing through one of the Halo titles for me,
Yes,
that I never
yeah,
got to experience, and that was pretty wild. That was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I made a day of streaming Halo 4, Halo 4, no, Halo 5.
I think it
Was
was
it 5?
5.
Yeah, it was Halo 5. Streamed that for you off the Master Chief Collection, and yeah, it was just you and me hanging out.
Yeah.
Kind of like we're doing right now.
Yeah, kind of like that. Except the world's gonna forever see us hanging out. So that's pretty cool.
Kevin, what do you think you're gonna do with your time?
Well, I now that I'm married now, I'm still a homeowner, so I can't escape the clutches of that. But when I'm not doing those things, I have talked kind of out loud and at length of doing something music related again, and I want to find a way to kind of channel that energy into a maybe a stream of some sort. But I want to get back into music. I want to get back into music writing, and I really love the idea. Like, I know people do it all the time, but like there are certain songs that I hear and I just want to recreate them in my own, within my own creative space, and how I vision them and hear them in my head.
Sure.
And I think I might want to. I think I'm going to start doing that with a couple tracks at first, but then I eventually do want to go back into like writing original stuff and recording that. So I think that's what's next for me. I'm not really like I don't want to use this as a springboard, so I don't have a lot of like info to give, but at the end I'll like my Twitter is at red in my socks, and I'll probably start marketing stuff through there when I'm ready. So.
Okay. I know Wes doesn't really use social media, so I don't really know how to shout him out. But I'm sure he will let one of us know, and we can get the word out. You can find me anywhere at Derpidoo. Um, that's one of the things that came from streaming. Actually, I was at a I was at PAX. It was PAX Prime when it was still PAX Prime before it became PAX West, and this is when I had first gotten involved with like streaming and things. I was at a I don't know if I would call it like an influencer event, but like we got invited to like a little our charity organization. We got invited to like this little party, and there were some small time streamers there that were starting to kind of make a name for themselves. I don't know if they're still active, but when someone asked me, he's like, "Oh, you stream?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, what are your socials, and like what's your stream?" And I was like, "Well, my stream's this, but my socials are this." And he's like, "Oh, you got to make it cohesive, or like, because like that's how people are gonna look for you." And I was like, "Oh, that's probably a really good idea." so, and so I just made it like my Twitch name, and my Twitch name is a really stupid story because when I was trying to like um figure out like what I wanted to do with streaming, I literally asked myself out loud, I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I was like, I'm not good enough at like to do like hardcore anything. I'm probably just going to end up like derping around. And I was like, derp 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 derpadoo. Okay, that works. And like a lot of people have like cool names that like mean something to them, or like has like a like significance behind it, and I'm literally just like, and what am I gonna do with the Twitch channel?
That's funny. That's great though, and you do have something marketable if you ever decide to do it again, because everything's derpatoo.
Yep, that is true. And speaking of socials, for people that listen to this, whether, when it comes out or however long into the future you're hearing this, if you are hearing this, then that means that everything is still active except for the streaming platform stuff. We're going to stop paying for that service because, why would we keep doing it? But all the episodes are still going to be on YouTube. And I'm going to keep running the Twitter, just all the social medias. Don't worry, I promise not to use it as like a burner account. I promised that to Kevin and Wes because, their names are associated with it too. So I don't want to start like going off the deep end and then they'll be like, well, no, I'm tied to this.
Right.
So, but if you guys ever want to reach out to us or get word out to like Kevin or Wes, hit me up at the socials. The email's going away because we have to pay for that too. But so anything that we pay for is going to go bye-bye. But the socials are free. And so, yeah, you can DM me on Twitter, Threads, Facebook. Well, Kevin will maybe see the Facebook because Facebook is just a piece of shit to deal with. But Instagram for sure.
Yep, it sure is.
So, yeah, you guys can, anybody that's listening to this, you guys can definitely reach out to us. And who knows, like maybe we'll get the band back together. Maybe some investor will stumble across this and think that it's fantastic and we'll be like, I'm going to pay you guys thousands of dollars. Just keep doing this.
Could you fucking imagine?
I could imagine actually, because I think we did some really cool stuff. And I have a wild imagination.
Yeah, I think we did do some really cool stuff too. So, we will, if for some reason this is the first episode that you've stumbled upon, we will leave a list of episodes that you should check out in the description. It's going to be a very long description this time, with Twitter handles and Instagram handles and special thanks and all of that. So, speaking of special thanks. It has been real. It has been fun. It has been really fun. This is going to be the only episode where I get to shout out my wife, which is kind of fucked up. But at least we made it far enough to where I could call her my wife. But Lenny, I'm going to let you go first. Who do you want to shout out?
Oh, Kevin, I think you should go first.
I always let you go first. That's how the show works.
Yeah, but this is the last one. And
God,
this is a brainchild of you and Wes. So I think it's only right that since he's not here that you go first.
Okay, fine. All right, go ahead. I'm kidding. I want to shout out my amazing and beautiful wife, Ashley. God, that just feels so good to finally say. I want to shout out my best buds, Lenny and Wes, for doing something with me. For giving me a space to, I don't know, I used it to talk about the things that were happening in my life and the things that I experienced and my own life experiences through all the different, genres that we did this, podcast in. And it was just great. I want to thank Wes for never giving up. He rickrolled me into doing this.
He rickrolled you?
He rickrolled me. He never gave up. He never gave me up.
Oh, God damn it. I'm an idiot.
And, since we were teenagers, he talked about doing a project with me, and he finally got his wish. So we did a project together. But I want to thank him and his talents and everything that he did. And obviously want to thank Lenny for coming on and wanting to be a part of the show full time. And no, you didn't bully your way on. But it was just kind of funny, like how you, I think somebody who looks back at this show, who listens to every episode, will be like, it's kind of funny how Lenny did that and then they gave it to him. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a comedic thing that just happened, even though we didn't mean it to that way. I want to thank all the people who've been guests on the show. So, Peapod, Michael Lehman, Brittany Wells, Ace, Mercedes. Big shout out to Mercedes. for her contributions to the show.
Paul.
Paul from One Match Fire, the band. No, his book, One Match Fire. Just sounds like a cool band name. Dan Pfeiffer, Davis Wells, who's a fucking meteorologist now in Kentucky. Shout out to him for landing a gig, and just really excited for him to I don't know, insert here a joke about forecast about Mitch McConnell dying. And just anyone else that I'm forgetting. I'm so flooded with emotion right now. For all the people who've helped make this like a really special thing and a really special place. I know that there are a lot of people who follow the show very closely that I want to shout out. That would include Skylar Sapp, Catherine Holmes, my friend Jackie, Taylor Millinger, just a lot of people who I regularly talk to, about the show or about the podcast at some point, who were invested to the point where they would go out of their way to message me about something that they heard or heard us talk about, and that was just always really special to have, and I'm going to miss that a lot. And then finally, I think I want to shout out my mom, who also listens, and has just always kind of been unapologetic with her thoughts and views, and I won't say to a flaw, but I will say to a point where she is the reason why I say call your mom. Just like I know Wes's mom is very much the reason why we say call your mom as well. So please call your mom. That's probably going to be my last of the shout outs is to call your mom, because moms are amazing. So Lenny, I'll kick it over to you.
Wait, so I just want to clear something up. Are you telling me that your mom's been talking shit about us this entire time? Is that what I'm understanding?
No. No.
Thanks a lot. Oh god, shout outs. Okay. Now that we're doing shout outs, it's like it's real.
I know.
So
wait, I got a way to break the ice for you. Hold on.
Okay, so as for shout outs, I have to start with my amazingly wonderful and beautiful wife, Brittany, for one, like supporting me on this, two, for telling me when I'm being stupid, not just on this show, but just like more in general, and she's just so great. I'm sure she's probably listening to me right now going, ugh, and rolling her eyes, and maybe she'll listen to this and go, what a fucking dork. But she really is the best. Great mom. There's so many times, and I'm sure people that have listened or go back and listen, they'll hear some times where the kids are just going a little insane, and she did her best to try and keep that under control, and I really appreciate everything that she's done. And shout out to you, Kevin, you and Wes, for creating this space for us to talk about whatever it was we were going to talk about any given week. I said it earlier, but it really was an honor to be asked to be on full time, and to be here for a majority of it. I started listening, when you guys first put out the first episode and the teasers, and to see and be part of the evolution of it has been it's been really moving. This is like, Kevin, I know that for you, you've done projects before in the past. You've been part of like bands, or you've done stuff creatively. This is like my first like truly creative endeavor that's like out there to the public, and it's been an amazing learning experience. And so I have you and Wes to thank for that. I want to mimic or echo your shout outs to all the guests that have been on. You know, everyone has brought something unique and a perspective all their own. And I want to give not to single him out, but I want to give like a special thanks to Paul Lamb, because like he made us kind of legitimate, you know, in a way, by you know letting us do an advanced review of his book, which is a fantastic book, by the way. One Match Fire. You should definitely pick it up, preferably from his website, so he gets more money from it. And yeah. It's been amazing being here, and I don't know really what else to say for as far as shout outs go, but to call your mom.
Definitely call your mom. Definitely. Well said. This is normally where I would advertise the PayPal and the email and all of that, but you can follow us on our socials. Like I said, Lenny's going to keep those going at The Life Midwest. We obviously won't be accepting donations because it no longer costs money to run the show. And the website will also be going away, but we're just really thankful to the love and support that we got from close friends and family. And I think that when you have something like this that comes to an end, looking back on the love and support that you had from people around you kind of makes you go, yeah, you know, I could do something like this again if I really wanted to. So I just want to thank everybody for that. You know who you are, and I already mentioned most of you. So I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that especially the confidence that I kind of learned from, gained from Lenny and Wes, as a host and as a podcaster, and just kind of uncovering a talent I wasn't sure was there, and just the more I got settled in, the more natural it felt. So it was just kind of always a great thing to do. I will say that I hope that you'll, if you're listening, I hope you'll follow me on social media. I'm not that funny off the mic, but I try to be an all right person to talk to. So, happy to have someone reach out. Or if they just want to stick around and see what's next, that's great too. 'Cause there will be something. Like I said, I just not 100% set on it yet. I have some ideas, like I mentioned, but we'll see where the new year takes us. So, Lenny, any other final thoughts before we go?
Nope. No more final thoughts for this thing.
Gotcha. Wes?
Hey.
I'm just kidding. I wanted to be a part of that joke too.
That's called a callback.
That's called a callback. Boy, am I going to miss that. Lenny, thank you for everything from the bottom of my heart, and truly appreciate you and everything that you've done for me over the last month alone, but over the last 60 some odd episodes too, that you've been a part of, or 70 some odd episodes that you've been a part of. It means a lot that someone wants to join and be a part of what you're doing, and believes in what you're doing to the point where they want to be, involved heavily with it too. So, follow Lenny on TikTok. He won't tell you, but he's actually really fucking funny, at Derpadoo, of course. So, like I said, I'll make sure I post all of that on the descriptions. So
yeah, depending on when you're hearing this, you're going to see a rant from me about how much I hate Comcast. So
basically, if you want the Life Midwest to continue, just follow Lenny on TikTok. I have a feeling that's where this is going. But yeah, folks, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much again for listening, for following us, for hearing our political views, hearing our personal views, our cereal choices, our music choices, our obscene views on life sometimes, and McDonald's, which, by the way, I feel like we can I can give us all a happy ending here. We have bagels back at McDonald's now, which I know is old news. But if you somehow dodged that bullet of information from all the way back from episode 24, 25, or 26, one of those mid 20 episodes, there are bagels back at McDonald's now. So I guess we're just too busy eating the bagels at McDonald's because they came back that we can't make this podcast anymore. But thank you. Seriously, thank you all again. I feel like if I just continue this, I'm just going to keep saying thank you. So I'm just going to leave it there. But call your mom. Tell someone you love them. That's my last piece of advice for you. And have a good one. And it's not goodbye. It's see you later. So we'll see you later.
Love you, babes.